I feel like this is becoming so much of a thing that this whole soaking the paint off the canvas seems like every time I paint I'm doing it. We should put it up on the website, be on the front page of the website, a painting with just these blue paper towels stuck to it. Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do a beautiful little Italian landscape scene. Well, maybe kind of a road. It's not so much a landscape, but it should be fun. And if you're looking forward to seeing this and you'd like to see more, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more painting videos. All right, let's get started. Now I'm just going to block in, I don't know, a background here. I went ahead and put a little clear gel and white over what would be the sky. There's really no sky in this painting, but I'm just going to put it in because I want it to help me blend a little bit. I guess having this background blurry would probably add some dimension, so that's good. This is just a mess of yellow ochre and a little brown, just whatever. Doesn't really matter. Just a mess. Whatever you throw in is fine. There. Now up here we probably want some green to represent our trees or whatnot. I don't know. See, here's the thing. To me, just to keep this painting fairly easy, at least in the underpainting stage, I'm gonna stick to my like big bold areas of color, you know, like big blocks of tan and trees, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then we'll pull the detail out of that. That way we don't have to get too wrapped up in, okay, now I'm painting a building right off the bat. You know what I mean? I guess I'm trying to say we're kind of starting slow, somewhat. Not that this is slow, but we're not worried about the detail. Tell you what, let's grab a little bit of whatever this is with some green. And I want to go right up here to the top. And at the top, I'd love to see some of that. It's kind of like an olive color. Very pretty. Very pretty. Not too green, I would say. Not too green. Not too crazy. Good. Just allow that to blend, you know, right into what's going to be our buildings. Good thing we know what we're painting. Could you imagine if I didn't show you a picture in the thumbnail and you just had to guess what we were painting? Oh, wow. That would be terrible. I don't think anybody would enjoy that. So it's good to have an idea where you're going. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop in just color for this railing. Is it a ledge? Ledge. Yeah, it's definitely a ledge. There. I'm doing this here with the filbert brush just because I've got my 2-inch here. I do have other brushes. It looks like I don't have any brushes out. I do, they're just not on the magnets. So it's good to have a couple of each brush. It just keeps things easy, but I'm trying to get some of these smaller areas done while keeping my big brushes for doing the bigger stuff. Let me see, maybe, I don't know if this is going to end up looking like a ledge. I have no idea what's going on here. It's a little bit hard to figure out some of this stuff. I do have a basic idea in my mind, but it's definitely on the basic side. Oh boy. So if we pull something out of this basic idea, it'll be good. You never know until you try. Sometimes these kind of paintings, I've done them before in the past a couple times, sometimes they can be a little challenging. Not once, you know, like if you're following me, it shouldn't be too bad at all. But like for me, trying to figure out where in the world to put all these little tones to make it look right, it can be challenging. It's a lot of perspective. It's a lot of perspective to deal with. Now, as far as these little stairs go, it's kind of hard to tell. This is land, that is not a stair. Let's go ahead and, while we're just sitting here talking, let's just get in. Ooh, come on now. I don't want my colors to be like black in the shadows and then tan. It doesn't work. Don't do that. It won't look good. I want my shadows to be fairly light in the background. Definitely a tan color shadow. A very, very washed out highlight. I think will look beautiful. But I'm just trying to get these little stair steps in. There's 4 or 5 of them right there. I don't know. Doesn't really 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to put in is fine. We'll probably change it around. And then as far as this goes, these are a little bigger. So this is land again. Flat land, I should say. And then this over here is stairs again. Oh, look at that color. That is nowhere near black. It's this mess over here. There's black over there. See, you don't want black in the shadows, not until more toward the end, where you need to just punch that extra contrast. We're not there yet. And I don't want it to look, weird. It will start to look weird if you put too much of that in the shadows. You definitely want your shadows warm because this is all such a warm, colored material that this is built out of. And that's very classic for this style of painting. I'm definitely not inventing this style of painting. I've seen a lot, and they're influencing, those paintings are influencing this one. I'm trying to make it kind of feel like some of the other Italian landscape scenes that I've seen before. Oh, while we're standing here painting, let's look at the paintings you guys did in my last one. You guys are doing so good. It's always fun to check out the paintings that come in. And I know I don't get everybody's. I only get a few because by the time I need to grab them, you know, you guys have only had a couple of days because I'm already on to the next video by the time you're watching this one. So definitely excited to see them though. I do really enjoy it. All right, that looks decent right there. I think we can work with this. I'll just keep kind of tweaking this around. Maybe make these a little bigger, and then we'll move on to something else. So continuing to kind of work with the idea of just blocking in the big colors and shapes, we're going to tackle some green foliage and stuff. These are some pots down here, very rough. We'll make them look a little more realistic later. I mean, well, there's nothing there. I don't know what I'm saying. Here we go. Just get this in. I'm concentrating. It's okay. Hey, if you don't tell me it's okay, I'll tell myself it's okay. We'll get through this one way together. There. That's nice. All right, now take a little black, a little brown. Actually, a little red might be pretty. Just a little blue even. Just kind of go with some of the colors we've got going on. And I'm thinking a big old, super high character tree. Lots of character. Nice, right off the edge. In fact, it kind of frames in the scene. So there you go, right off the edge. I think that's important, actually. And then it just hides behind these bushes. I'll bring those bushes up. Make sure the canvas is covered, so that kind of determines where our bushes are going to go. That's perfect. Okay, now it's a little bit straight. Bring this up. Do your tweaking now so that when you go to detail, you don't have to worry about the different shapes. You know, it's all dialed in for you. All right, right up here. Let's just get a little more color going. We're going to probably in the next few minutes stop and wipe the canvas off and get it ready to do our details because it's blocked in, you know. Now we can start taking these large masses of honestly just impressionistic color. We'll start turning this into a painting. Well, you know how it goes by now. I've had these shop towels up here sitting probably for 5 minutes, maybe not even that long. And look, when you peel them off, all of that extra oil paint, don't throw those away. They're good to wipe your brushes on. All that extra oil is now gone, which is so good. This was fairly wet. Look at those lines that it left. Wow, I think that's just from the ridges, you know, it's got those little ridges in them. That's good. We maybe need to do that again. Hard to say. I've got a 3/4 brush. You know, I feel like, I'm just going to highlight here. I feel like this is becoming so much of a thing that this whole soaking the paint off the canvas seems like every time I paint I'm doing it. We should put it up on the website, be on the front page of the website, a painting with just these blue paper towels stuck to it. We should definitely do that. Nothing would build credibility like a big picture of a painting covered in paper towels. Don't you want to paint like me? Oh boy. Hey listen, sometimes the funky techniques work. Now see, I'm just using these overlapping, sweeping strokes. It's so important that you get this mottled look because that represents light filtering through these trees. I'm not even gonna worry about that doorway. That was more just a sketch. So let's cover those up. And a little green mixes in, great. Who cares? Perfectly welcome here. We'll just try to brighten that up some. We may need to wipe the canvas off again and do it again. We'll see. The light's kind of filtering just through the painting down and across like this. Very much splotchy light. Very splotchy light. That creates just, to me, the interest of these kind of paintings. And that's typical. Seems like every artist likes to do it that way, and I see why. It would probably be a really good idea to go ahead and absorb the oil out of this one more time. So I just got done rubbing all of the paint off the steps, and rather than absorbing it, I just rubbed it across because they're steps. They go that direction. It doesn't really mess up anything. You wouldn't want to do that for something like a tree. But now that we're done with that, look at this. Oh, it's basically dry. Basically dry. I love it. This has got to be my favorite little trick to painting, if you can even call it that. It's so simple. But if you don't do it, it's so much worse. You know, it's so hard if you don't do it. So I definitely recommend doing it. And the best part is it kind of forces you to take a break. It forces you to get away for a moment. And that's very good. It can help you reset your thinking when it comes to a certain area of the painting or whatnot. Hey, look at me. What am I doing here? Have I ever painted before? Let's get back on that brush and be a little bit looser. My goodness. Somebody was yelling at me, I'm sure. There we go. So I don't want it to be too cobblestoney yet. I kind of want to do that more with my dark colors, but it's okay. I just want it to look kind of splotchy, I guess, for now. Splotchy is a good start. All right, now obviously this will need to be highlighted with an accent highlight, very bright, very, very exciting, and this is not that. We're just building up the midtones right now. That's all. Just building up the midtones quietly, softly, no big deal. No big deal. And a lot of this is going to be popped out with shadow. You'll notice the only thing dark is like the trees. This is very bright, not a whole lot of shadow. And so we will be adding in that shadow kind of later on as things progress, because that way I think we'll just get a nicer, cleaner effect rather than trying to add all of these warm browns over the shadows. It's not going to go well. This is going to be better. At least that's my thought. Hey, if you have a different way you'd rather do it the different way. It doesn't matter. I'm just excited to see what you guys do. Remember, hashtag, we'll put it on the screen. Definitely share with me, because I would love to see your version and include them in the next video. Very cool. Plus, it kind of gives you guys an incentive, doesn't it? Makes it exciting to jump right in and give this one a try. And sometimes, and it's not, don't feel bad. It's not a bad thing if you need a little incentive. Sometimes it's kind of hard to push yourself out and paint, especially if you don't have somewhere set up. So there's your free tip for today. If you can, go ahead and make a spot where you can set up, even if it's just a little corner. I mean, look at me, I'm standing in the corner painting here. So if you can find a little corner of your house, set it up and leave it up if you can. And that way, when you get the urge to paint, when you get a moment to paint, you can jump in there and do it. When you don't have time, it's there waiting for you. You're not spending half your time setting it up and tearing it down, losing the motivation to paint. By the time it's all set up, you're like, I'm exhausted and I don't really feel like doing it. I get it. So that's my tip for today. So now we're starting to finally add the shadows in. This is going to help make the painting worth looking at. Basically, that's it, right? That's what the shading is going to do. There, kind of creating just bits and pieces on this little ledge here. That's good. I don't know, I've got this. This is all kind of rough. It's very rough. It's not kind of rough. It is very, very rough. And I'm okay with that for now, because I've got this in mind, This brush is too big, actually. I've got a small one. I should use it. I'll get it out in a minute for these little details. We've got a lot of details to paint, so I'm not too worried about it. Those pots don't have to be anywhere close to perfect. Not even close, because we got so much stuff covering them. Right over here, this doorway, our last bit of white canvas, let's cover that up. We don't need that bright area kind of distracting us. Make that all sort of fit into the painting. Cool. See, nothing is one dead color. That's one thing I notice about these landscapes or paintings. Who knows? Whatever you want to call this. Is they're full of colors. Colors in the shadows, colors in the highlights, everywhere. Lots of color. All right. So, I've got a really good question, because I've never been to Italy. So I know we must have somebody watching, or several people watching from Italy. Is this just like not really the way it is? Is this just kind of a stereotype, or are there areas that look just like this still? I'd be really interested to know. This is what we picture when we think of Italy. I wonder how accurate that is. Let me know in the comments. I'll go look. So now I've got a little bit of purple here on the detail brush, and it's finally time to start kind of bringing some of these textures in, bringing some of these actual shapes in, not just throwing color on randomly anymore. This is good. We're going to start just refining this painting at this point, actually. Nice. I like this. I think that looks pretty interesting. Of course, if at any time this gets out of hand, stop right there and wipe the canvas off, or soak the oil out. Do something just to make it work for you. There. I've got very, very little paint down here on the canvas, so I'm okay. But, it's always good to have that option. So you're starting to mix a little there. A little mixing is okay. I've got a purple that I'm using, purple, and all of this yellow. They just kind of make brown anyway, so it's perfect. Perfect shadow color to be using here. Purple's almost always a perfect shadow color, but I'm establishing my shadows first, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come back in and then like outline my little bricks or just stones, cobblestones, whatever this is gonna end up being. But before we do that, I wanna get all of my kind of shadow areas blocked in, including some of these purples here in the shadow. You don't want these shadows just gray. You can put a little brown in them, but see that I just stuck a little brown in, but you don't want them too gray. Here we go. A little highlight, not much. And honestly, you can maybe just leave it like that. I don't know. Maybe add a little more. Just a little more. What does that do? Do we like that? Yeah, I think we do. Go down a little further than you want it, because of course you got your plants that'll grow back over it. Just enough to show we didn't forget about it entirely. Now I've got a little more red and a little blue here. Just make up a quick purple. And maybe with, maybe more blue, because it is on the shadow side, of course. I hit that shadow side, including the bump, which is very interesting, adds a little character. There. Nice, I think we can work with that. I like it. Maybe even a little, just a little, oop, not too much. Ah, don't do that, come on now. Don't put light on the dark side there. Good, okay. That's pretty, subtle but pretty. I think we should leave it before we mess it up. Detail brush. Let's grab that. And I'm going to, right here, I'm going to begin to drop in some leaves that kind of help to cover this trunk and push it back somewhat. Just quick and easy, simple leaves. Actually, at this time, we're probably going, very official at this time. Anyway, right now, we're going to, we're going to probably start using the detail brush a lot. I'm going to maybe start right in here and just work my way across. Let's start, I'll do it with you, but let's just start doing like flowers and leaves and cracks and details and just get this painting looking a little more finished. Let's do that. Now, this may need to be brightened, but we won't know until we finish highlighting everything else. So I'm gonna go dark to begin with, and we'll just punch it up with a little brightness if we need to. I know I want some brighter leaves here. That's pretty right over that. I think we'll probably leave this more kind of just shadowy, so there you go. Wow, I like this. I like this contrast, and just, I like the feel of that area. Looks good. There, I'm just putting kind of a few details in. I don't even know if I'll keep these. I don't know that I really like them. They're okay. Hold on, let me. This is actually a baby wipe. I shouldn't be using this, but I should be using the blue shop towel, but I'm not doing much, so I don't think it'll fall apart on me. It's already starting to fall apart on me. I don't know if we ever talk about it. Baby wipes are perfect for cleaning your hands from the oil paint. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice, okay. Okay, I think we can work with that. Maybe just a little detail here. This is how we're gonna literally have to finish out the painting. This is it. We're not gonna do much of anything else different. So it's just you and me standing here trying to just add on these little bits and pieces of detail until this thing is looking complete. Highlights and shadows will create all that form, you know. That's what's going to make this thing work. Now up in here I wiped away that dark color because I want to add some highlight. And obviously we're going to have some more tree branches because this is a little weird. I mean, it's not perfect. I did it very quickly, and we'll cover up most of it. You'll just see a little bit of it sneaking through, and that's going to be more than enough. I did not put enough effort into that just because I did figure I was going to cover it. Let's put a little more effort here in this door. We got a little texture there in those pots. You don't have to have all the pots filled, but you certainly could, depending on what you like. Definitely just going to kind of muddle around some green. I think that will create a nice potted plant effect. There we go, a little in front of the door, why not? See that? Just touches of green make a huge difference when you're doing stuff like this. Now, right up here, maybe a little bit. Nice. We can add highlight to these, but just a matter of getting these details in so you can work with them. It's a little little pastel. Let's add a little more paint. The reason it was coming out looking kind of pastel colored is because it was just mixing a lot with that background, making it chalky. Okay, a little more green, yellow, whatever. Highlight just real quick. We can highlight more in a little bit. Kind of just bring everything up to around the same level and then maybe go back and do it again. Something like that. That looks good. Yes. All right, now let's jump right down here. And I'm going to begin putting in my flowers. I think this is going to be, oh, so pretty. Right over that green. The red, it's pretty punchy. You shouldn't have any trouble getting your red flowers to stick over this green. You should cut right over it. Not have any issue. Cool. Now, as for the brighter ones, that might be a little trickier. What you can do, we'll just add a little yellow and white. You don't want to add just white or it'll come out too pink. Add yellow and white. And then kind of glob on a little, make it a little thicker there so that it's a little brighter. I think that'll work out just fine. And of course you'll highlight. Nice. I'm okay, because of the nature of this painting, I'm okay with a little more texture than normal. I kind of like it. I think it's a nice look. I think it kind of lends a little more interest to this whole area, to have a little texture. Plus it's easier. Yeah, so we'll make up a reason to do it. Just because it's easier. There. All right, now over here, again, I'll just repeat that same idea with some orangey ones. Very pretty. Now you don't want them all orange. We'll go over here and we'll maybe paint in some blue ones. So now I'm going to do a little more work up here, just blocking in some leaves. Of course, we already did this, but it was more of a sketch than anything else. I mean, we ended up just kind of mushing around them quite a bit. Now we'll bring them out. Some of those soft ones back in there actually might be nice. They might help tie the actual leaves in with the building a little, and just might make it all feel like it's connected. I don't know, but it could be nice. There. But anyway, do this fairly slow. It's not a big deal to go back and wipe this off and put your tan colors back in. These colors are pretty forgiving, I'm noticing. When you saw me over there a minute ago, wiping that off. So it's pretty forgiving. But if you don't have to, then that's extra time you can spend painting flowers, details, whatnot, right? So that's probably the thing to do. But anyway, we'll connect that a little bit. I love the idea of seeing through. See how you can see through? Love that. There, and I won't mess up the side. I like that little side of the building effect there that you can see through the tree. So we'll leave that intact. I will put a little highlight on this, but it won't be a ton. Oh, the other thing I want to do is I want to cover this area because I don't really think it's the best. So I'm going to cover it so that what you do see through will look very detailed. It'll look like, wow, we put some effort even behind these leaves, when in reality the leaves were there to hide the lack of effort. Oh, this is so sneaky. Don't tell anybody. Now I've got the liner brush here. The liner brush may seem like an odd choice at this point because it's not, it's not like the very final things, but I'm just going to use this to begin dropping in my stones that the road here, the steps are made from. It gives me a finer line, and by now there's so much paint here that I think it would be probably the best result. We'll get the longest. We don't have to continually get more paint if I do them with the liner brush. What's also nice here is, if you do get more than you want, or they start to look funny, or something, anything that you're not happy with, you can just take a detail brush or something and just touch them, and they'll disappear right into the background of them. Literally, all you need is a quick touch. So that is excellent. Makes it easy. So I will spend a few moments, not terribly long, but just some amount of time here, adding in all of these nice effects. And they could be just a little brighter, not much, but just a little brighter here in the sun area. Now just to add a little variety to this area, I think I'm going to do the stones that are here. Actually, we need to do that kind of at an angle, right? I'm going to do the stones here with the detail brush instead. This will give me a different look. You see it actually makes them softer. Makes them a little softer. Of course, I did blend a lot of those in, so they look great. I mean, they look kind of the way I was wanting them to look, which is just integrated into the painting. There. But anyway, here I'm going to, especially because I'm kind of doing more stones, I'm going to not crazy stones, you know, just loose indication of some stones. I just like the look of this brush for this application is all. I guess that was kind of kind of long and confusing, but the point is I like the look of it. There. It gives me a little different control. Not necessarily more or less control, just different. I'm able to kind of smooth things out as I go. Applying, you know, varying degrees of pressure to the brush. That's how you get that. Very loose brick pattern. I'm not going to sit here and make it perfect. It doesn't need to be. It just kind of needs to be a suggestion of something going on is all you need to do. You're just indicating to your viewer, hey, look, there's some bricks happening here. And that's it. If you need to go back in and soften even some more with other light tones, that would be great. Probably something I'm going to do. Just take a moment. There, that looks great. That's all it needs. Although, having said that, I wish they were kind of tilting down more. That's super easy. Before I get into a pattern, I'll just go ahead and make sure that they're kind of sloping with the roof. See that? You don't necessarily even need to redo them. Just get them sloping in that direction. There we go. Very rough and organic looking. I like that. I think it's more interesting that way. So now I've got my filbert brush and I'm going to drop in some more leaves here in this pot. That looks decent right there. You could easily do this with the detail round exclusively, but I think it's going to be faster, honestly just easier, to get it at least started with a filbert brush, then go back and detail it with a detail round. I always love saying that. There, that looks pretty decent. I think we can work with it. Not too much, maybe. See that? It's certainly, I can say this from experience. When it comes to doing like the potted plants and this kind of scene, it's easy to overdo it and get too much. So you may want to just kind of go slowly and get just the right amount to make it feel, you know, feel complete. Feel like, okay, that's definitely enough, you know, without going overboard. That would be good. Maybe this is kind of hanging off the side. That's different and pretty. I think that works. This is great. Let's just do kind of a lot of this maybe. Sneak a little more dark in there. This brush is good for layering, especially when you use it kind of flat. This way it's very stiff. This way it's a little softer. You can layer better with it. Nice. It's good texture, actually. And maybe we've got some here at the bottom, just to add that detail and that interest to this area. Again, don't go crazy with it, or you'll be stuck wiping it off and putting your background colors, your stone colors back in. Watch us cut right here to me erasing. Oh boy. No, we're not going to do that today. And then let's do some right here. This one's bigger. The leaves are bigger. It's meant to look a lot closer. So there you go. Maybe do a little more negative space. Slight change of plan. Rather than me coming back and erasing like I was talking about, I'm adding more. I want some sort of like a little vine that's kind of on the side here of the building. And it's going to be flowering. Probably with really pretty red flowers to balance out the red there, red there, red there. I think it'd be really pretty. So I'm going to make this little clumpy like that. Hopefully we can get our red flowers to stick without becoming a muddy mess. I kind of think we will be able to do that. Hey, if not, we know how to fix that, right? So no worries. That's going to be cool. A lot of negative space. And I kind of want it to feel like it's coming from this side, reaching in. It gives you a feeling of, oh, there's something else happening outside the borders of the painting. That's a trick actually a lot of artists use. That's pretty common. So now I'm going to add what maybe are little roses or who knows what, just flowers here to this bush. Make this kind of interesting. I like that. I think that's, I really do think it's going to look nice. I think it's going to be really cool. Maybe a few more, almost just have a little blue shade in them so they're not quite so red, just to change it up, because we have super bright red ones. I thought it might be kind of pretty to have something that's not quite so red. Hey, at this point, you know, it's just kind of creative, whatever you feel like doing. Yours won't be exactly like mine. If I were to do it again, it wouldn't be the same. It's always a little different, and that's just great. There's just nothing wrong with that at all, is there? It's kind of fun. It's absolutely kind of fun. There, just get a few of these touches of light color. They don't have to be anything crazy, just enough to show a little light, a little interest in something that's just not flat. And there you go. Yeah, basically you're just trying not to make it flat. If you can avoid that, oh yes, you've got it. It's true in so much of painting. If you can just keep it from being flat, you got a nice little painting right there. Nice. Actually, you could probably like load up a couple colors into one brush like this and just hit it all and get a shadow highlight all at once, kind of like you would maybe paint a rock that way. Not that we really do that much, but you know, you can. You certainly can. And there we go. Just something maybe to make it a little faster. People often will ask me, it's a question I get, how do you know when to stop? It just, you know, that's tough to answer, but you'll get to a point of, honestly, I've been using this a lot just in everything else, of diminishing returns, where you know you make a stroke and it's not really adding much. And at that point you stop. When you keep painting and you're really not getting anywhere, stop. If you're not perfectly happy with it, usually I say, hey, just go on to the next one. You'll learn more that way. But if you want to go back and tweak something in a couple of weeks once it dries, that's perfectly okay. There you go. That's my 2 cents. That's how I kind of know when to stop. Now on this painting, I think it's just because there's so many elements. There's so much going on. Everywhere needs to be detailed. It's a lot of brush strokes, but it's worth it because we get a nice painting at the end. Something we can be proud of. After all this work, let me tell you, I'm going to be happy with it, even if it's not perfect. There, I'm finishing up, just adding another pot here, a little detail to this area. The reason I'm even pointing this out, standing back where you're standing, I saw that straight line. So what I did, I just broke it up. It makes it look so much better. Yes, there can be a straight line because this is man-made. Normally in nature you don't do straight lines, but it would be perfectly acceptable here. Just for my painting, I didn't really care for it, so I changed it by breaking that area up just a little, not much. That's good. I also added a little moss or just plants growing downward. I'm adding some yellow ochre to my colors here as I go. I like the feel of that, so we'll just add a little moss here to kind of the shadow side. Not even moss, just plant vegetation. Yes, that is exactly what it is. There. And just help tie everything together, because otherwise it's kind of boring. Some of this area right here in the middle, we don't want that. We want very, very interesting. There, it's really come together. It's come together pretty quickly at the end, like just woo, all together. It's starting to look good. And that makes me excited. Sometimes you have to hold out to the very end and you see a dramatic improvement right at the end. A little spot highlight on some of these flower pots. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, and brush line. Thanks for watching.